Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. We're heard right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me again. If you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Shooting Up North, Instagram at Alliance PW Network, or you could join our Facebook group, The Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. So this is Shooting Up North's Impact News and Notes, Impact Wrestling News and Notes for March 12th, 2022. We're going to start with an Impact Wrestler officially leaving the company. It appears that Falaba is done with Impact Wrestling, almost 5 years with the company. As I reported few weeks ago, Falaba's profile was taken off of the Impact Wrestling, their website's roster page. So it says here, Ba was quietly removed from Impact's roster page back in January and re-added to the Virtual Basements Wrestling Code video game shortly after. Impact had asked their talent not to include themselves in that game back in 2020. And we're told not much has changed since. We have spoken to several Impact talent and staff that confirm that Ba has not been at recent Impact Wrestling tapings over the last few months. And might I add that this is coming from Fightful.com. Over the last few months, Rohit Raju, Larry D, Ace Romero, Matt Striker, and others have left and had their contracts with Impact Wrestling expired. Fightful was told to expect some more turnover as people on the roster expected to be constantly refreshed. Fightful reached out to Falaba and Impact officials, but they haven't heard back as of yet. So official news out. I think everybody kind of knew that Falaba was gone, but now it's made official that Falaba is no longer with Impact Wrestling. It's very interesting where they mention that they expect some more turnover as people on the roster are expected to be constantly refreshed. So they're expecting some more releases from Impact Wrestling and some more new talent coming in. So it looks like Impact Wrestling is going to release some of the older talent. When I say older, I don't mean age older. I mean who's been with the company for quite some time, and refresh it with new talent. So that's the direction it appears that Impact Wrestling appears to be taking in terms of talent. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep my eyes on it. Anybody else release? Anybody else taking off their Impact Wrestling roster page? I'll keep my eyes on that. I'll be sure to report on that as well. But once again, despite the fact of Fightful saying that they reach out to Falaba and Impact officials, they haven't heard back yet. I think it's safe to say that Falaba is officially done with Impact Wrestling. Okay, so on to Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna Purrazzo actually said that Impact Wrestling doesn't get enough credit for being the hub of the wrestling multiverse. Again, getting this from Fightful.com. Deonna Purrazzo calls Impact the hub of the wrestling multiverse. Over the past year, the wrestling world has seen an unprecedented amount of crossover between promotions with Impact, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AAA, Ring of Honor, and even WWE, welcoming outside talents onto the show. Speaking with Joey G of Wrestling Headlines, the Ring of Honor and AAA Women's Champion said that Impact doesn't get the credit it deserves for being the hub of the wrestling multiverse. And this is a quote from Deonna Purrazzo. She says, I think expect the unexpected. What has been so fun and reinvigorating about wrestling right now, the wrestling community, but also specifically Impact Wrestling, is this multiverse that we all get to go through these doors. And I think Impact doesn't get the credit it deserves, being the hub of the multiverse. I agree with her 100%. We've opened the doors to any company to have a working relationship with us, to bring their champions here, to bring their top talent here, to compete against the top talent and Impact Wrestling. So I think that's what's exciting. You never know who's going to pop up at our show next Friday and Saturday in Philly, which is interesting to hear. You never know who's going to pop up in Poughkeepsie and at Rebellion, so the possibilities are endless. And I think that we're keeping everybody on their toes. So that's why more than anything, they should be coming to the shows when they're in the area and turning into Access TV or YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube too. Impact Wrestling is set to host a multiverse of matches event at WrestleCon during WrestleMania weekend. Peraza is set to defend both titles on the next episode of Impact against Lady Frost and Giselle Shaw. Very interesting. Deonna Purrazzo. I'm sorry, I think pronounce it right. It's Deonna. It's Deonna Purrazzo. And I pronounce it wrong, and I apologize. I get it wrong sometimes, so I apologize to Peraza. I think it's interesting where she says that you're not going to show you never know who's going to pop up at our show next Friday and Saturday in Philly, and you never know who's going to pop up in Poughkeepsie. So I think we're going to get a couple of surprises. I think we're going to get a couple of surprises in Philly, as long as it's not ECW alumni like Sandman and Blue Meanie, and I hope it's like a Blake Christian or Jasmine Allure or somebody of that nature. And you never know who's going to pop up in Poughkeepsie as well, as what she said. So she's right. I think Impact Wrestling doesn't get enough credit for being the multiverse. For giving us for being the hub of the multiverse, I should say. So I do agree with Deonna Purrazzo. I'm glad she spoke out on that, and I think she's 100% correct on that as well. And a very exciting time for Impact Wrestling. I'm very interested to find out who's going to be showing up at these matches at these shows. Like she says, you never know who's going to show up in Philadelphia. You never know who's going to show up in Poughkeepsie. Oh, just gotta tune in and find out. All right, so. Impact Wrestling Star is set to appear on the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Style Evolve show. There's the US of J Open Challenge where Jay White makes an open challenge to anybody in the wrestling world, and Impact Wrestling Star Chris Sabin has accepted that challenge. So it's going to be Jay White versus Chris Sabin for New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Style Evolved, which takes place on March 20th. I'm not exactly sure. Does it say here where it takes place? St. Petersburg Coliseum in Tampa, Florida. So it's going to be Jay White versus Chris Sabin, Impact Wrestling Star Chris Sabin, one-on-one with Jay White. Should be a fantastic match. Actually, Chris Sabin cut a promo on it. If you go to New Japan Pro Wrestling of America, their Twitter feed, Chris Sabin has cut a promo indicating that he's entering that challenge. So that should be just a fantastic match between two top stars. So Jay White versus Chris Sabin at New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Style Evolved, March 20th, St. Petersburg, Florida. It says White and Sabin are involved in a program in Impact Wrestling as well. They are scheduled to face each other on Friday, April 1st for Impact Multiverse of Matches. Forgot about that. So April 1st, they're going one-on-one as well. So it's gonna maybe Jay White wins one match, Chris Sabin wins another, and they have a rubber match. They have a best 2 out of 3. So they're meeting each other twice, but still it's a bonus. It's going to be 2 fantastic matches. Forgot about the multiverse of matches match that they're having on April 1st. But it says White defeated Sabin's teammate Alex Shelley last Saturday at Impact Sacrifice, which was another just a tremendous match. And the Motor City Machine Guns will face White and Chris Bay on this Thursday's Impact on Access TV. Speaking of which, all the matches have been set. Well, a number of matches, I should say, have been set for next week, Impact on Access TV. So matches that are taking place, as I mentioned, Bullet Club, Jay White, Chris Bay going up against the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, and Chris Sabin. Should be an absolutely banger of a match. Then we have Deonna Purrazzo defending. Not sure which belt she's defending, but I guess we'll find out next week. But it's going to be a triple threat match against just Giselle Shaw and Lady Frost. Should be a great one. This one I'm waiting for. Josh Alexander one-on-one against Matt Taven should be out freaking standing. So Josh Alexander one-on-one with Matt Taven next week, next Thursday at Impact on Access TV, and Rhino goes one-on-one with Steve Macklin, which should be another one as well. So we have a hell of a show. Impact Wrestling has a hell of a show set up for next Thursday, Impact on Access TV. Should be absolutely fantastic. Just saw something coming in here from Sami Callihan. Let me see if any news on him on his injury here. No, just Sami Callihan indicating that people should buy tickets to Rebellion. I think tickets are selling pretty quickly for Rebellion. Let me see if I can find out real quick how many tickets are available for Yeah, it looks like tickets are selling well. I don't know exactly how many tickets have been sold, but as I'm looking at Ticketmaster, looks like tickets are selling well, and I hope they sell out. I hope they sell out. I would imagine that they're going to sell out in Poughkeepsie, but Sammy Callahan just tweeting out to buy tickets. Actually, he tweeted this out on March 4th. It was just retweeted by Impact Wrestling. I'm sorry. So I thought it was something coming in from Sammy Callahan. But that's it. That's it. Impact Wrestling news and notes for today, March 12th, 2022. Anything breaks, of course, I'm home. I'll be on it. But until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye. And stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye bye.